Hey guys, Shay here from Fool on a Journey with an Oracle deck and book review. I do actually want to sort of preface this is not intended to be an Oracle. This is actually a children's game. However, you will recognize the name on the book. John and Caitlin Matthews were the authors behind the Arthurian Tarot. They wrote the book that went with it, Hollow Quest, and the Arthurian Tarot course. They also wrote the Encyclopedia of Celtic Wisdom, and they also had a book called Ladies of the Lake, which those are just the ones that I have, that they've been a part of. I know that they've been a part of tons and tons more stuff than that, but they're, in searching for other things that they did, I came across this, and I actually also saw this on Kelly from the Truth and Stories page. She sort of talked about it briefly. This is so good if you have trouble stringing together a story. I've actually been using this kind of as a tool to help with creating the story that you get from the cards you turn over. That's essentially what you're doing when you're doing tarot readings. You turn over the cards that tell the story, and then it's your job to read the cards and turn what you're looking at, the pictures, into the story. And if that's something you struggle with, this is awesome. That actually wasn't something that I was having a really hard time with, but when I realized that this tool was out there and was illustrated so beautifully, I immediately jumped on it. So this is Storyworld. Again, by John and Caitlin Matthews. So I want to start with the book, just so we can kind of get that out of the way. You know that you have something good when on one of the very first pages there is a quote by Neil Gaiman. Trust dreams, trust your heart, and trust your story. And the whole book is illustrated gorgeous. That's actually one of the cards. And what they've done is pretty stinking magical. So all of the cards, and here they are, you can see, here's a couple pages. Each card is a character, and the idea is that you use the characters to create your story, and then they have all these games that you can do in the back, like pick one card, now tell a story from that card, ask some questions. All of these different games that you can do with drawing cards that all apply to tarot or to any other oracle deck that is the majority of the card is a picture. If it's mostly just a picture, you can do all of these games. Asking questions that are gonna sort of dig into it, which the questions are on the card. I'll sort of pull those out in just a second. So for example, here is the fairy messenger. Okay, and then on the back of the card, you see the fairy messenger, messenger between fairy and human worlds. What message does he carry under his arm, and who are they for? What will happen if he blows his horn? Who might try to stop him, and why? So then when you look at him, you can see the details. Here's the message. The horn is strapped to his belt. So just another thing to sort of make you notice details in the card and how to make them, a part of your story, which is awesome. Also in this book are fantastic questions for getting to know your cards. All of these were awesome. You can use them for any oracle or tarot deck at all. What's your favorite card? Who would you like to choose to be your companion? That would be a fascinating question for, a tarot deck or any oracle deck. A place you'd like to explore. What card is one you'd want to be in? What's the story about? What order do the cards go in? Do you feel like there's an order? For tarot, obviously there's more numbers. These don't really have one. And just there's a lot of exploring storytelling, which is so cool. That's an amazing tool. If you have kids, using them for what they actually are is a really cool way to sort of introduce kids to reading cards, which is essentially kind of what this does. So I split my decks, and they come with like expansion packs. So I have the original, and then I also have the expansion packs. I honestly can't remember all the ones that I have, and then I split them up from people into things. So here are all of the people. The art is beautiful. There were 5 or 6 illustrators listed. So creepy. I love it. It really is great as a game, and it works absolutely fine as an oracle because all the cards sort of have a keyword. So if you pull the knight, I defend the weak and overthrow bullies. That's an oracle card. I did actually intentionally separate mine with the characters versus sort of the things and animals, which is the next stack of cards that I'll be rolling through really quick. Because sometimes what I want to know is something about myself, and then sometimes I want to know, you know, what do I need, where do I need to go, and if I'm intentionally looking for a where I need to go question, I prefer to sort of know I'm going to pick a place instead of a person. Ooh, I love that one. But the art is gorgeous. There's, of course, the fairy tale aspect going on here. You can definitely see different illustrators for the different expansion packs, but they're so similar that it works okay. That mummy is very creepy. The witch is pretty. Uh-oh, almost lost the stowaway. But I have definitely enjoyed pulling this out when I've just wanted something very sort of light and simple and clear, like King of the Sea rules over the oceans from beneath the waves. Like, I mean, it's very simple, it's very basic. How you apply that, you know, if you were to pull it as an oracle card, is up to you. But it's very cool. Ooh, Scissor Man, he's creepy. Pirate Queen. So those are all the people. And then here we go with the next stack. And these are the like things and the magic and all of that fun stuff. And I do actually end up having a very massive stack because I got all the expansions. You could of course just get the ones that you wanted. I wanted them all, which I'm sure you can understand. Dropping them. The stack is too big to hold in one hand. So there was clearly some kind of like Halloween expansion. That was definitely part of that. There was some, like a fairy expansion maybe. And then an ocean or a water expansion. And then the original, whatever. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. You know, and if you pull Endless Fog, you get Bewilders the Living. The Charm of Storm makes waters wild and stormy to hinder enemies. And then you get questions. And as you get used to sort of pulling questions with the card, you start being able to ask yourself, you know, you start learning how to ask yourself questions of other cards from other decks. It really is just a great learning tool. If the creation of the story is something you struggle with, this is such a good way to go. It does seem sort of like you're babying yourself because it's a kid's game, but I mean, let's get real, tarot was a card game, so we're all just adjusting our perspective. And I personally use this as an oracle just fine. So if that is something that maybe you start out with using it as a tool to kind of learn and then ease into using it as an oracle, that is something else you could do. And then, of course, I've said this before, but it's just the more you look at the cards, the art is beautiful. Almost there, my poor little hand. This was a lot of cards to roll through. I will show you the whole stack in just a second. Phew! And there is all the cards. Quick mention of some downsides. One, they're huge. So this card is essentially the size of my whole hand. And because they have the name printed on the back and the front, you end up having to sort of draw, like looking away. I don't actually close my eyes, I just sort of turn my head the other way before I draw cards so that I'm not cheating. This is the stack of places and things. And this is the stack for people. So all together with all the expansions, or I may not have gotten all of them, but all the ones I could find. That is the deck. It's pretty massive. But I did want to do a quick spread just to sort of show you how you can use it as an oracle. So I have shuffled and I'm going to be drawing by not looking. So what I've decided to ask is for random unnamed person, who are you now? And who do you need to be? Okay, and then what do you have now? And what do you need to find? All right, so for who are you now, we have the Queen. I am the gracious lady of my own domain. So think about queen, that's hospitality, you're taking care of people, people are coming to you, for gifts, you're happy to have them. When you think of a queen of the domain, this is somebody who's very comfortable, but who's also in charge of taking care of other people's comfort. So maybe, if that's who you are now, if who you need to be is the headless horseman, still rides at midnight. So if you think about needing to be the headless horseman as opposed to, if you're the queen is who you are now and what you need to be is this, I would say that really what you need to do is get out at night. Stop sitting at home on your throne. Get out there, go do some things, scare some people. You do not have to sit patiently and quietly on your throne all the time and be a perfect, gracious host. Okay, what do you have? The leaf boat. I am the boat that drifts unseen down the river. So essentially what it's saying is that you have the ability to be unnoticed, to sort of slide under the radar, to slip by people, to be quiet, to disappear. If this is what you have now, but what you need is the jack-o'-lantern. opens pathways to ghostly realms. So what you need is to get out and go somewhere that you're afraid to go. You need to find a way to get out of your comfort zone, to do something that scares you. So clearly, in this reading, this is for a person who's very quiet and content and happy at home, who needs to get out, explore, do something that scares you every day, and embrace the idea of doing the scary stuff and being a part of the wild nightlife. So that is a quick reading from the Storyworld cards. Again, that's not what they were originally purposed for. That's just how I am using them. I will say that as far as cardstock is concerned, it's very, very flimsy. It really just feels like laminated paper. And I am considering possibly backing them, even though it would take forever because they have so many cards, because they are so flimsy. And I hate that I can see what they are from the back. So there are a couple of drawbacks to the cards themselves, but the art is absolutely gorgeous. I love the whole idea, especially if you have kids. I think it's awesome. So all around, I would definitely call this one a positive review. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And as always, thanks for watching.